we have not covered this case in a few minutes. This is a civil defamation case going on in federal court in Idaho. There was a TikTok creator who said in over 100 different TikToks that a professor at the University of Idaho was responsible for the murders of the 4 students that Brian Koberger is being prosecuted for. The creator was sent multiple cease and desists, internet gonna internet, and the creator did what creators do with cease and desists. I mean, not all creators. Some creators look at the cease and desist and go, danger, danger. And some go, you're not going to do anything for real, and then use it as content. So the creator interneted, and we are now in an ongoing federal civil defamation suit. The creator is representing herself, pro se, through a series of litigation, and this federal court allowed for call-in attendance. So I attended the hearings that have been had, and I recounted those to you. So we get through the early processes. The TikTok creator tries to countersue. All of that gets yeeted. So much gets yeeted. At one point, the attorney for the professor called this something like a clout circus. Yup. And just went in that this creator was making these sensationalized videos accusing someone of murder for essentially clicks and views. The TikTok psychic was trying to double down on truth as a defense. And the court was like, okay, but do you have like evidence, like an objectively reasonable basis of evidence? And so the TikTok psychic said to the court, you are discounting and discriminating against me and my spiritual beliefs because you are not counting my spiritual guides and my tarot cards and my beliefs as objective evidence. And the court said, we need objective evidence. That's how court works. I'm not discriminating against you, not discriminating against your religion. I am not discriminating against your guides, who should probably tell you that this is a bad idea. But you need objective evidence to show that this is true. When that did not come forward, the court granted a motion for summary judgment, which ends the liability portion of the case. So defamation has been found, liability has been found. The court ruled that there is no defense and that defamation has occurred. So now we're only dealing with the issue of damages. How bad is it? And there may be a trial based on damages only. So the TikTok psychic gets to the end of all of this and says, I don't want this judge. The TikTok psychic, by the way, had already consented to the jurisdiction of this judge. It got sent to another judge months and months and months down the line. The other judge said, no, you don't get to just say, I don't like this ruling, I want a new ref. That's not how this works. This judge is not biased against you because they asked for objective evidence, not your subjective belief. Not how that works. So this judge stays. After that ruling was made, this judge ruled on the pleadings on the TikTok psychic's motion. The motion was named, because pro se, the motion was named the defendant's motion to alter or amend judgment. So the pro se defendant said, Your Honor, I don't like your call. I want a new ref. Like, I'm taking my guides and going home. And the court said, yeah, you can't do that. And then the judge decided to rule on this motion to amend. I am imagining, because I paused, every time I see a motion in this case, I wait for y'all, because there's no way to not do this together. Yet again, the TikTok psychic has tried to get the court to change its mind because she doesn't like their ruling. And the court has yet again said that is not a sufficient basis to change my ruling. For all of you who are like, why has this case not just been thrown out of court yet? Because the plaintiff deserves to have their day in court. The plaintiff professor brought this suit. Punitive damages are on the table. This case has been decided as to liability and is going to go forward to a trial on the damages if it can't settle. I don't see this settling on the issue of damages. So just a few days ago, the court ruled for the last time that the summary judgment motion being granted will not be undone. The judge has reminded the TikTok psychic that spiritual beliefs are not the problem here. Making unfounded factual statements accusing someone of crimes are in fact the problem here. And for that, this case will go forward as to damages and punitive damages only. So I'm interested to see where we go next. I think there will probably be a case management conference set and then a date set for the damage trial or the trial on the damages. And the jury will be told that defamation has already been proven because that was ruled on as a matter of summary judgment. And this case is 3 years in. We are 3 years into litigation because a professor's picture was picked out of a website and then it was blasted to the whole world that she is behind the University of Idaho murders that Brian Kohberger will be standing trial for later this summer. I feel for the professor in this. It is very difficult to undo that type of damage. And Google's not going to take all those articles down talking about this. It's something that will follow her for the rest of her life. And I don't think there's any amount of money to make up for the way that something like that can change your life. Because she was living her life and then got thrust into the spotlight and harassed because of it. And there's no amount of money that regains that feeling of safety. For any of you who have suffered harassment, crime, you know that that feeling of safety, like you can mark that moment. And you've got the before and then the after. And you can mark how you've changed, how your view of the world has changed, how you orient yourself to the world. And I feel for the professor in that very much because none of this needed to happen. It's reckless. It's atrocious. It's irresponsible. And for what? You don't just get to ruin people's lives with impunity. And many wouldn't have the financial resources to try to make it right. And I'm glad the professor has sought to make it right because it's important to keep these conversations going in courts and to look at what the laws look like regarding digital harassment, because the laws are fairly well set with physical harassment, with harassing phone calls, but the laws are still changing with regard to the online space, things like swatting, doxing, and digital harassment. So we will continue to see these conversations happen. I think they're important to have these conversations, which is why I'm still covering this case. This one, we're going to the end. However many years it takes, we're in it. Thanks for joining me. If you enjoyed this episode and don't want to miss updates on your favorite cases, you're going to need the Law Nerd app at lawnerdapp.com. That way you can stay in the loop on the cases that matter most to you, and you never know when you're going to catch feelings for a new case. So make sure you get it for free on iOS and Android. Thank you for being here, and thank you for being a Law Nerd.